Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. My name is Jamil, and today I'm going to be helping you through another LeetCode problem. So today, we're going to be tackling the LeetCode number 1323, maximum 69 number. And what that means is basically what we're going to do is we're going to manipulate a number, and we're going to try and find the largest number by changing one digit from a 6 to a 9. Okay? So, without further ado, let's jump straight into the question. So right here, it says you are given a positive integer num consisting of only digits 6 and 9. And we need to return the maximum value you can get by changing at most one digit, right? Like, so 1 6 becomes a 9 and 1 9 becomes a 6. So, for example, if we have the number 9669, the maximum number will be 9969. Right, and this will always be the case. It will always be the leftmost 6 in the number. If you change that to a 9, that will be the largest number that you can get by making one change, right? It makes no sense for us to have 9699 that is 300 smaller than 9969, right? Approximately. So, if we're trying to find the largest number, what we will do is we will work our way from the left to the right of the number, and whenever we find a 6, what we will do is we will switch it to a 9. So if in example number 2, the 6 is the final digit in the string or in the number, then we just change that and it becomes 9999. Okay? If the numbers are all 9s, then, we're not doing any changes and we just pass it back. So our number can be anywhere between 1 to 10 to the 4, which I believe is 10,000. Okay? So we only need to take into account up to 4 digits, since 10,000 is the 5th digit, but it's saying that our upper bound is 10,000, so we won't hit 10,001. Okay, so let's start by understanding what is being passed in our question. So we are being passed a number, okay? A number. It is type number, and this is important to know, because what we need to do is we need to try we will be switching it. We will be doing a little bit of manipulation on the number to change it to a string, and then we will be returning it to a number at the end of the function. Is it efficient? We'll figure out at the end of the question, and you can determine whether you can come up with a better solution or not. Okay, the number won't contain any strings or any characters, I should say, that aren't exclusively numbers. Okay. We won't have to take into account nested arrays or objects. Cool. And what are we returning? We just need to return the new number after it has been I cannot type today, manipulated. There we go. Cool. All right. So, as I mentioned earlier, if what we're being passed as a number, we can only do so much with numbers, at least to my knowledge. What I will be doing is I will be switching this to a string, manipulating the string, turning it back to a number, and then going from there. Okay? So first what we're going to do is take the number and make it type string. Okay? So what we're going to do is let new num, which is a string, equal num dot toString, right? And then because I want to work with each individual number, I'm just going to split it, okay? And I'm going to split it where basically at the end of each index. So if I console log new num now, right? But I will return 1 just for the sake of the function, because it is expecting a number to be returned. If I don't return a number, if I take this out altogether, you'll see that number under here is red, marking it an error, telling me that I'm missing something. So I will return 1 here, and see what's happening here. Let's run this and see what error comes back. Oh, it's a string array. That's why. Because we are now splitting it. So we're turning it into a string, back into an array so that we can manipulate it. Okay, so we have 9, 6, 6, and 9 from our original number 9669. But keep in mind, pay very close attention that each of these numbers are strings, right? They are strings in the array. They are not type numbers. They are type string. If you didn't change them to a string, you wouldn't be able to run the split method on them. Okay, so now that we have that ready, let's do this. We're going to iterate over our array using a for loop. And the first time we meet a 6, we're going to change it to a 9, and then we are going to break our loop. So we don't want to actually continue looping over, because what will happen is that it will change every 6 that is available into a 9. And as if we remember what the question said, it said at most 1 digit. Okay, so we need to be able to stay within that constraint. So loop over the array, make it type string with an array. Loop over the array and change the first 6 into a 9. Perfect. So let's do this. I is less than new num dot length, and then I plus plus. Okay. If new num, so yeah, this is where we will do basically our conversion. So if new num I is equal to, and it is a string 6, we're going to say new num I, and I'm just going to copy this, paste this. It's going to be equal to string 9. And then this is something that is built into JavaScript. You can just type in the keyword break, and it will break your loop. Okay, so it won't run the rest of the loop. All right. So once that's all done, once we've done our manipulation of the string, we can take a look and we can return this. Let's return new num. But before that, we need let me undo that. Let me just console log what new num looks like. Okay. Console.log, and in between curly brackets so that we can see what is happening with new num. Right? Take a look at this. New num comes in as 9, 9, 6, and 9, which is the expected output, but we're still in an array of strings. Okay? We need to change this, but we need to manipulate this back into a number. So what we will do is we'll take new num, and since it is an array of strings, we can use an array operator on it, or like a method on it. We will say join, and we will join it the same way we split it at every character, but I'm going to take this whole thing and throw it into brackets and add this plus sign here. Okay? So what does this plus sign do? This plus sign, what it does is it will change the joined array from a string back into a number. You can do the same thing by doing this number. Okay? But for the sake of simplicity, I just like doing this plus sign here. And if we return this, you will see that the number here is not triggered. It's not upset at me. So if I run this, we will see that we get our expected output of 9969. Same thing with the next test case, which is 9999, and then 9999 on the third one, but we didn't have to do anything. It didn't run. It just iterated over the whole loop and nothing triggered. So if we submit this, let's see if our solution works, right? Perfect. Look at that. It works. It sounds like it's pretty efficient in terms of like what we need to do. We are taking a number, switching it to a string, and then manipulating it into an array, manipulating the array, and then joining it. But what you can do is, I think if we try to take out split and join, you will still be able to do the same thing. So let's double check and see. Okay. If we take this out, and if we take this out, but because it's no longer an array of strings, let's do this. What does it not like about this? Oh, I see. The reason why it doesn't work, even though technically You should be able to iterate over a string, you know, and then you're going to try and mutate it, but that's where your issue is. In JavaScript, and this is an important thing to note, strings are not mutable. So what that means is mutable is like you cannot perform any actions on the string itself to change it, right? Strings are immutable. And so this is important to know why, you know, even though we split, we didn't split the string, but we iterated over it and we were able to iterate over it, it started giving us an error on line number 12, right? It's because when you try to do a direct action onto a string, it's not going to work. You have to manipulate it into an array, manipulate the array, and then go back into a string so that, you know, JavaScript isn't upset at you. But with that being said, that concludes our video for today. Hopefully you learned something. If you like the video, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel to be notified about the next video that's coming up. And once again, my name is Jamil. Thank you so much for joining me here today, and I'll see you next video.